Welcome back, everybody. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Well, today we're diving deep into the life and career of the one and only Marlon Brando.
Wow.
But with a twist,
Yeah.
we're going to be looking at him through the lens of the Enneagram.
No kidding.
Specifically, we're going to see how well he embodies the sexual 8 archetype.
Oh, that's gonna be fascinating.
Yeah, I've been reading up on the Enneagram, and it's pretty amazing.
It really is.
To think you can have this system, this framework to understand people, their motivations, their fears.
Yeah, it's like having a map of the human psyche.
Exactly.
9 interconnected personality types, each with its own quirks and patterns.
And the sexual 8, from what I've gathered,
Yeah.
they're known for being really intense.
Intense, yes, definitely.
Magnetic.
Yeah, to be.
They even use the word possession to describe them in the source material.
Possession.
Like they can captivate a whole room.
That's a bold word, but it kind of makes sense when you think about the kind of energy a sexual 8 brings.
Yeah, and doesn't that sound a bit like Brando already?
It does. I mean, just thinking about his presence on screen,
Yeah, oh yeah.
you can't take your eyes off him.
But when you say possession,
Yeah.
is that meant to be like a negative thing?
Not really, no.
Okay.
It's more about a raw, captivating energy that draws people in.
Oh, okay. So not like someone trying to control others?
No, not in the manipulative sense.
Okay, got it.
It's more about their magnetism,
Okay.
this powerful presence that can express itself in different ways.
So it could be subtle,
Absolutely.
or it could be like, bam.
Exactly. Think of Brando's most famous roles.
Okay.
The raw, explosive energy of Stanley Kowalski in A Streetcar Named Desire
Oh, yeah.
versus the quiet but undeniable authority of Don Vito Corleone in The Godfather.
Wow, that's a great comparison. 2 completely different characters, yet they both had that.
That captivating aura.
Yes, that's the word.
Yeah, and what's even more interesting is that this wasn't just an act for Brando.
Really?
People who knew him personally said he had that same aura in real life, too.
So it wasn't just acting.
It was him. Like, truly him.
Wow, this is fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the commanding presence down.
Mm-hmm.
But the sexual 8 is also known for being kind of a rebel,
That's
right?
Big time.
And Brando, he definitely wasn't afraid to challenge the status quo.
No, not at all.
So how does that rebellious streak tie in?
Well, the sexual 8 is all about resisting control.
Okay.
They want to be in charge of their own destiny.
I see.
And Brando, he was a master of that.
Yeah.
I mean, think about his method acting.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty radical back then.
It was. And he was also very outspoken about his beliefs,
Oh, yeah, even when they weren't popular.
especially when they weren't popular.
Exactly.
And of course, there's that, the famous Oscar protest,
Oh, yeah.
refusing the award for The Godfather.
To stand up for Native American rights.
Right. I mean, that was a huge statement.
It was. A lot of people thought it was a publicity stunt.
Right.
But it was much more than that.
You think?
It was a true act of defiance,
Wow.
rooted in deep principles.
That's powerful.
And that's an important thing to remember about the sexual 8.
Okay.
Their rebellious nature. It's not about being difficult for the sake of it.
Hmm.
It's about fighting for what they believe in.
So they're not just like contrarians.
No, not
They actually stand for something.
Exactly. They have strong convictions, and they're not afraid to act on them.
Interesting. Okay.
So we've got the commanding presence.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the rebellious spirit.
Right.
But what about relationships?
Oh, good point.
Because the source material says that sexual 8s, they crave deep connection,
Okay.
but they also struggle with vulnerability.
Ooh, that's interesting.
So how does that play out, do you think?
Well, Brando was known for having, pretty passionate and complex relationships, full of love, but also, a lot of conflict.
Mm-hmm. A lot of drama.
He seemed to embody that push and pull,
Yeah.
wanting intimacy, but also fearing, being truly seen.
Exactly. That fear of being hurt or controlled.
Right. Makes sense.
And his film, Last Tango in Paris, comes to mind.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of raw emotion and vulnerability in that performance, right?
Yes. Both in his acting and in his personal life at that time,
Yeah.
Last Tango in Paris really captures that intense emotional landscape.
It's like art imitating life,
Absolutely.
especially with an actor like Brando, who was so fully invested in his roles.
It's a powerful example of that.
It is. But let's not forget.
Yeah. What else is there?
Well, there's another key aspect of the sexual 8 that we haven't touched on yet.
Oh. I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
We'll get to that right after this break.
Sounds good. So before the break, we were talking about Brando and the sexual 8 archetype.
Right, right.
And we touched on that intensity,
Hmm.
that need for connection,
Yeah.
but also that struggle with vulnerability.
Yes. Yes, it's a fascinating paradox.
It is. But there's another aspect of the sexual 8 that I think really shines through with Brando.
Yeah, but I'm listening.
It's their charisma.
Wow, yeah.
And that almost theatrical presence they have.
It's like they were born for the stage, right?
Exactly. So we're talking more than just, someone who's outgoing or charming.
It's deeper than that.
It's almost like an aura.
Yeah, and Brando's commitment to method acting, I think, really amplified this.
Oh, absolutely. Because it wasn't just about, portraying a character.
It was about becoming them.
Yeah, inhabiting them fully.
Which brings us back to that idea of possession we were talking about earlier.
Right. Like he wasn't just pretending.
Yeah.
He was becoming those roles.
Heart and soul.
And this extended beyond his acting career, too. Oh, definitely.
Think about his activism.
Right.
It wasn't just about, lending his name to a cause.
He was a true advocate.
Yeah, he was deeply involved in the things he believed in.
For example, the Oscar protest.
Oh, yeah.
He could have just accepted the award.
Right.
Given a speech.
A quick little thank you.
Exactly. But he chose to make a much bigger statement.
By refusing it altogether.
And risking his career.
It's that sexual 8 passion,
Absolutely. That fierce commitment.
It's like they have this fire in them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not afraid to, to use it for what they believe in.
To make a difference.
Okay, so we've talked about their commanding presence.
Yes.
That rebellious streak.
Mm-hmm.
And now this passion for causes they believe in.
But we still haven't fully explored that tension.
You're right.
Between craving connection.
Right.
And struggling with vulnerability.
It's like this constant push and pull.
Exactly.
And, Brando's personal life, it definitely reflected this.
It did. His relationships were often, passionate, but also tumultuous.
Like a drama.
It's almost like their intensity. It spills over into all areas of their lives.
Yeah, they love fiercely.
Yeah.
They also guard their hearts very carefully.
It's fascinating how his on-screen persona often mirrored his real life.
Right.
Makes you wonder if he, consciously sought out roles that explored these themes.
Yeah.
Or maybe those roles chose him because he could bring such raw authenticity to them.
That's a good point.
He wasn't afraid to tap into those deeper emotions.
And let the audience see his vulnerability.
Yeah, I'm starting to see how Brando wasn't just like a textbook example of a sexual 8.
Right.
He was a unique embodiment of this archetype.
He certainly was.
I mean, think about his iconic role as Johnny Strabler in The Wild One.
Oh, yeah.
That leather jacket, the motorcycle, the smoldering looks.
He was the epitome of rebellious charisma.
And even off-screen, he wasn't afraid to clash with directors.
Oh, no, he definitely wasn't.
Or demand creative control.
He had a clear vision.
And he wasn't shy about asserting himself.
To make sure it was realized.
So this drive for control,
Yeah.
It's about more than just, wanting to be the boss.
It's about having the power to create,
To shape.
to make a real impact.
Exactly. And for a sexual 8, it's not just about being in charge.
Right.
It's about using their strength and influence.
To shape the world around them.
And often with a protective instinct towards the vulnerable.
Yes, that's a key part of it.
Wow. I'm starting to see how those seemingly contradictory traits, that commanding presence and the vulnerability, the rebellious nature, and that deep desire for connection.
They actually fit together.
It's like they're two sides of the same coin.
That's the beauty of the Enneagram.
Yeah.
It helps us understand that these seemingly opposite qualities can coexist within a person.
And often contribute to their unique charm and complexity. And Brando definitely had both charm and complexity in spades. But would you say he was like a typical sexual 8?
That's a good question.
Or was he something more?
Well, he definitely embodied many of the core traits, but he also amplified them in a way that few others could.
So he was like a sexual 8 turned up to 11?
Exactly. He was a larger-than-life figure, both on and off screen.
And his intensity, it just permeated everything he did.
And there's one more piece to this puzzle.
Okay, what's that?
His ability to seamlessly blend strength with vulnerability.
Oh, interesting.
He could be tough, dominant, but he also allowed us to see his emotional depths.
His insecurities.
Without compromising his power.
You know, you don't usually think of vulnerability as a strength.
No, you don't.
But with Brando, it seemed to enhance his appeal.
He managed to embody both.
Yeah.
Without one diminishing the other.
I think that's what made him so fascinating.
As an actor and as a human being.
He was this complex, multifaceted figure.
Who defied easy categorization.
And that's where the Enneagram comes in, right?
Yeah, it gives us a framework.
But it's important to remember
What's that?
That each individual expresses their type.
In their own unique way.
It's not about putting people in boxes.
Yeah.
It's about providing a lens.
Through which we can better understand ourselves.
And others.
It's about seeing the patterns.
The motivation.
The fears.
Just drive us.
And appreciating the rich tapestry of human experience.
Well said. So Brando,
yeah.
He was a unique expression of the sexual 8.
Absolutely.
But now I'm curious, do you see any of these sexual 8 tendencies in people you know?
Maybe.
Like a friend, a family member, a colleague?
It's possible.
Because once you start to understand these archetypes, you start to see them reflected in the people around you.
It's like having a new set of glasses.
Yeah, or like a secret decoder ring for human behavior.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe we even recognize some of these traits in ourselves.
Ooh, that's a scary thought.
But that's the real power of the Enneagram, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a tool for self-discovery.
As much as it is for understanding others.
It's not about labeling people.
No.
But about recognizing that shared human experience.
The motivations and fears that connect us all.
And that's what makes this exploration so rewarding.
It really is.
This deep dive into Marlon Brando and the sexual 8, it's given me a whole new perspective on his life and work.
You too?
And it makes you wonder, you know.
What are you wondering?
How much of our personality is predetermined?
Yeah.
And how much is shaped by our experiences?
That's the age-old question.
It is.
But regardless of the answer, the Enneagram, it can provide valuable insights
into our own inner workings
and how we interact with the world around us.
It's fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
So we're going to wrap things up there.
Okay.
But if this conversation has, piqued your curiosity, I encourage you to explore the Enneagram further.
It's a journey of self-discovery.
And understanding.
And you might be surprised
by what you learn
about yourself and the people you interact with every day.
Yeah, it's like we've uncovered this hidden layer to his persona.
Almost like a secret code.
Yeah, and now we can understand the forces that drove him,
It gives us a new appreciation for him.
I think so.
Not just his talent,
right?
But the complexities of the man himself.
And who knows, maybe this deep dive has got you thinking about the people in your life.
Yeah, maybe.
Do any of them strike you as a sexual 8 now?
It's possible. But the real takeaway here isn't about labeling anyone.
Right.
The Enneagram, it's most valuable when it helps us
helps us what?
Cultivate self-awareness and compassion.
Oh, that's a good point.
The more we understand these patterns, the more we can approach our interactions with understanding.
Instead of judgment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not about putting people in boxes.
Right.
But about recognizing those universal human drives.
Yeah, those motivations.
That connect us all.
And maybe understanding these archetypes can even help us...
Help us what?
Navigate our own relationships a little better.
I think so.
Yeah.
Like, imagine recognizing those sexual 8 tendencies in a partner or a friend or a family member.
Right.
Instead of getting frustrated
by
their need for control.
Oh, their intensity.
You might start to see it as
what?
As part of their core personality.
Oh.
Their way of engaging with the world.
It's about meeting people where they are.
Exactly.
Understanding their motivations.
And finding ways to connect.
On a deeper level.
That's what makes this so rewarding.
It is.
It's not just about gaining knowledge. It's about applying it to our lives.
And building more meaningful connections.
With the people around us.
Well said. So I think we've established that Marlon Brando, he truly embodies the sexual 8 archetype.
Oh, absolutely.
But more importantly, we've glimpsed how understanding this system,
the Enneagram,
can offer insights
into the human experience,
both our own and that of others.
It's a powerful tool.
It is. And if this conversation has, piqued your curiosity, I encourage you to explore the Enneagram further.
It's a fascinating journey.
Self-discovery and understanding.
And you might be surprised by what you learn.
About yourself and the people around you.
It's a journey worth taking.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this fascinating deep dive into the world of Marlon Brando and the Enneagram.
Until next time.
Keep exploring, keep learning.
And keep diving deep.
See you all next time.